Bang! Neeves Knives, I'm Jared, and today we're checking out something that I've been very excited about all year because I got to try it at Blade Show Atlanta when I went and visited with Gavin Hawk from Hawk Knives. Now, this is a manual knife from Hawk Knives, and it's using the toggle detent and Hawk lock, similar to what you guys might know from the Serge Panchenko Rook. This also uses the Hawk lock and toggle detent, which is a lock and detent system that I've absolutely fallen in love with. Now, they're known for making the iconic Hawk deadlock from their OTF, which is an OTF that has absolutely no play. It is bank vault solid, and it is absolutely remarkable. Now, there has been recently Microtech's coming out with a no play, OTF, but these guys were the first ones to do it, and as far as right now, the way I look at it, the best, because I haven't tried the Microtech yet, but this is the TALON. And the TALON, like I said, is a manual knife from Hawk Knives, and it has an M390 deep hollow ground sheep's foot blade. This one has a stone washed finish. I'm not sure if there's other variants. I think there is other variants, but I mean finishes on the blade. This one having a beautiful stone wash, and my goodness, did they do a good edge. This is a high quality factory edge. You typically don't see factory edges done this well. Hopefully that's also a good representation of how they're heat treating their M390. Now, the liners are titanium, and then we have this titanium pocket clip, which I might not have thought that I would have liked in the past, but recently, because I've been so picky on clips and I'm just sick of them tearing up my pockets, I want super smooth clips. This makes it where you don't ever have to worry about that. You clip it in, clip it out, and so you never have anything going over the seam of your pocket. So this technically saves your pocket, which is awesome. We have this fat carbon fiber. I believe this is fat carbon fiber over the titanium, which this is a beautiful piece of carbon fiber. You know, I've dealt with a lot of carbon fiber, but this is definitely a really, really nice cut. And you can't barely see it, but there is milling, and it's the Hawk symbol. I don't know how. You might be able to see it right there. It's carved into the scales. Now, this locking system, or sorry, let's go with the detent. The locking system and detent. You can't pull this down and swing it out like a crossbar lock. So I know it kind of simulates that, but it's not that. So the way this works is there's a spring pushing up a metal plate that goes behind the blade when you deploy it. And the detent is a toggle. So it's also on a spring, and it goes, you know, the toggle detent goes back and forth, making it have this clicky sound, which is really addicting. And it also allows to have a really good detent. Now, the flipper tab, if you look, it's so high up on top of the knife. You can see it's got nice jimping up there. You get a massive amount of leverage. Even without a detent, this thing would have no problem deploying all the way just from leverage alone. So it might feel a little bit like a lighter detent, but that's only because of how high this flipper tab is and all the leverage you have. So very satisfying flipper. Then you have a beautiful landing zone right there that you can kind of just kick down, and hear how loud and how snappy it is. You can I mean, it's basically always going to be a light switch, but you light switch it down, nice little landing spot, and the jimping there, you know, acts as a good spot for traction. The button on the locking system it looks like titanium, I'm pretty sure it is very comfortable and very easy to use. It has a good amount of grip on it. So very, very, very easy to disengage, and it's super smooth. Like this lock, I've never felt any stick on a lock like this. And you also can, because it, you know, has the toggle detent, it's very easy to reverse flick off of the blade. And also the thumb studs. Now, the thumb studs are technically the blade stop, so they're not really thumb studs, they're more of the stop pin, but very easy to use, just like a set of thumb studs. One thing I really like about a mechanism like this is that when you pull it out of your pocket and you're going to make a cut, the ability to get the blade open make your cut, and then get it back closed and, you know, in a safe position is so effortless. So it makes it to where, you know, like when, you know, you're working with a knife or doing really anything with a knife where you're doing multiple things, not just cutting one thing, you know, in many cases you have to use your other hand. You have to use this hand too. So I might grab the thing I'm going to cut, make the cut, but now I need to use this hand again. So I need to get the blade out of the way, and now I can either put it away or I can use the hand like this and then break it back out and make my cut, get it back closed to a safe position. And like I said, it's so effortless. It makes the use and the use of the knife in any working condition way, way more valuable and way easier to use. That to me is so, so important. As somebody who's worked with a knife my whole life, you know, that's something that can wind up making your job take a lot longer without having that. Now the ergonomics, super good. This is, you know, you can just kind of, if you look at the way the handle's shaped, in my opinion, when I look at it, I can see this is going to fit nicely, just the way a hand curves, and that's exactly what it does. And even this getting narrow, a little bit more narrow, it looks like it's getting more narrow than it is because, you know, of this spot right here, but you got to consider this back spacer. So it's actually nice and thick back there in the hand, very comfortable to choke up on. Pinch grips are amazing. The sheep's foot blade has a bit of belly, so you can cut down on a flat surface, use the tip very well because, you know, sheep's foots typically do very well with utility cuts. Now this has, I don't want to call it a harpoon, but it does kind of, you know, rise up right there and then go back down. I love the swedge. Nice spine thickness, gets down to a very, very nice cutting edge. Sharp control and plunge grind is decent. Start the plunge grind here, ends right here. I always prefer more, but this one's, you know, just fine. You got room to sharpen, so you got room to lay your edge back. Now, the inside of it is milled out heavily. As you can see, it's got a nice groove cut into the back spacer where the blade can land. And let's take a look at that. Look at that centering. Having that groove right there, they need to make sure it is perfect because otherwise it just stands out. Luckily, they do such a good job that it's beautifully done. The clip is titanium, by the way, and it does have the grip on there. So, you know, nice and comfortable to pinch it, you know, to pull it in and out of the pocket. So this knife is dropping today, the day I'm posting it, at 7 p.m. Central Time or 6 p.m. Mountain Time. So just keep that in mind. If you're wanting to get one, you will have an opportunity today. So yeah, it's a badass piece. It's definitely going to be a piece that people are going to be getting quickly. And, you know, just anything Hawk Knives touches is gold. So, you know, I expect these things to sell pretty well and possibly even be raised on the secondary market. So be aware of that if you're going to try to get one on the secondary, you're most likely going to wind up paying more. Now, I don't know if that's going to be true or not, but it just, you know, judging from the past, that can be the way it goes. Right now, he does have some OTFs available that I will link down in the description, some of his deadlocks. They are very expensive, but like I said, they are the best. So if you want the best OTF, the best of the best, and they're one of the only companies doing OTFs, especially out of the USA, in titanium. So that's awesome. And, you know, they have fat carbon fiber overlays. They're just absolutely badass. This one, though, being that this mechanism, because I'm personally a fan of manual knives more than automatics. I like automatics, but manual knives is what I love. So this to me is just right up my alley. These are not cheap. These are not affordable. These are expensive. But, you know, that's what you know, if you want something from the best, you know, then that you got to pay, right? And especially with something with such a unique beautifully tuned detent and locking mechanism. By the way, it is rock solid lockup. I have zero play up and down or side to side. I don't want to beat on it too much, but because it is a very expensive knife, but it will withstand, you know, some pressure. And I don't expect anything less from Hawk Knives. I guarantee that they do thorough testing on everything. Even when they design this lock, I guarantee it was done at a super high standard. First time I tried this lock was on the Orbit with Serge Panchenko. That was, you know, a while back. But I went to Serge Panchenko and I begged him, please come back with a new Orbit or a new version of the Orbit. And then he came out with the Rook. And I was super excited to see him do that because this is also an amazing piece. And he does make these, you know, in the USA. So these are also very expensive. He has, I think another version. I think the one difference is just the clip. I'm not positive. There might be a couple other differences, but I know he does do this with this clip. But yeah, again, you know, this one's a little different just because of the button, you know, and the groove in the blade and stuff. But like I said, you can easily reverse flick this as if it does have a fuller. Not a problem at all. You can also reach up and get it with your thumb. Pretty much any finger. Nitpicks. Let's talk about some nitpicks and negatives if I was going to have any. One, I do feel the clip. You know, I feel the clip back here when I'm squeezing it. And if I really squeeze it good, I might feel this slightly going like that, but not much. It's not bad at all. I would have no problem using this long term and bearing down on it. Not that I probably would. I mean, I would carry it as an EDC and use, of course, I use all my knives, right? And I'll be using this one. But I mean, like, it's not something that I'm going to break out as my work knife, right? This is something I would carry just day to day, basic EDC, opening packages, opening things up, whatever I need to cut. But it's not something I'm going to take out when I say I need to go break down hundreds and hundreds of feet of cardboard. This isn't going to be my go-to. So, even if it was, it'd be just fine. I'd have no problems with it. But, you know, I do feel that just slightly. So I don't know if you consider that a negative, but, you know, you do feel it a little bit. The next thing is, you know, like I said, the choil could have been a little bit bigger. This is a tiny nitpick because it still clears the plunge grind. The end of the plunge grind stops right there. So you do still have plenty of life to sharpen off. You have plenty of room to lower back your edge angle, but they already put a nice edge angle on there. And boy, does it have a lot of bite. I have high hopes for this M390. I do not know exactly what they're running their M390 at. I hope it's, you know, 62 HRC, 61, 62 or better, but I do not know. I do know though that since these are made in smaller batches, you're going to be a lot more likely that the steel is going to be heat treated properly, being M390, you know, because it can be a little finicky in mass production. And I don't really have much negatives, guys. This is just such an awesome piece that, yeah, it's too good to sit here and nitpick and, you know, complain about. Like I said, the clip possibly could be a little bit longer. I haven't had no issues with it, but, you know, maybe that could be one thing that, you know, you could say. Maybe there's a reason why it's not. I don't know. But, you know, hey, man, it works and it doesn't chew up your pockets, so it's actually pretty cool. But yeah, maybe a little bit longer. Other than that, the only other thing I'm going to say is this T6 back here. I wish it was a T8. I don't know why he went with a T6 because T6s tend to strip out much easier, especially when they're titanium. I know typically titanium hardware is hardened, so yeah, I have had some soft stuff though. But the next thing is the pivot. I know it's proprietary, obviously, so you got to get the tool from them, or, you know, whatever tool this would be. I don't even know what this would be called. I probably have something that'll fit it. I'm not sure though, but you'd hate to scratch it trying to tighten the pivot or anything like that. So that is, you know, that'd probably be my biggest nitpick, is that if it starts generating play and stuff, I'm gonna have to find something to you know, go around that and, you know, not scratch the hell out of it. Man, this thing is so badass. I freaking love it. I freaking dig it so much. Even down to the stop pins, you know. I love external stop pins like this. They just, you know, it helps with side to side to be more rigid because, you know, when it goes like this, it hits the titanium. So and then also it clears anything back here. So if I wanted to cut in my own choil or something like that after I've sharpened it a bunch, I have all the room in the world. Anyways, there you guys go. Just a quick look at it. Like I said, it did drop, or it is dropping today. I'm not sure exactly what time I'm posting this, but keep your eyes out. 7 p.m. Central Time, and the Hawk Deadlock just dropped, or Hawk just dropped a bunch of deadlocks on Blade HQ, which I'll link also down in the description. Work hard, stay tough. Until next time, peace.